Hello everyone, I'm Claire from Susan's family. Today, I'd like to introduce to you. Today we're making the artistic bouquet sunflower style. For this electronic tutorial, you can search for susud.com to view it. The bouquet includes sunflowers and eucalyptus. Let's start by learning how to crochet the sunflower. The sunflower is divided into the center and the petals, the calyx and leaves, making 4 parts in total. Start by crocheting the center. Then crochet the petals onto the center. Next, crochet the calyx and leaves. Finally, assemble the stem. Let's begin with the center. Use the magic ring method to start. Crochet in rounds. For the last round, crochet into the stitches left from the previous rounds. The stitch techniques used include chain stitches, single crochet, slip stitch, SC2-in-1, and half double crochet. Please watch as I demonstrate the specific crocheting method. Before we start crocheting, let's learn the proper posture for crocheting. To make it easier for you to see clearly, I will use thick yarn for the demonstration. The colors are random. For specific yarn, color schemes, and hook sizes, please refer to the detail page of our product and the paper instructions. Let's start with a magic ring. Pick up the yarn tail with your right hand. Wrap it twice around your left index finger. Now there are 3 strands on your left index finger. Pinch the overlapping part of the loops with your right thumb and index finger. Take it out. Then wrap the yarn tail once around your left little finger. Insert your right hand between the middle finger and index finger. Transfer the loop to between your left middle finger and thumb. Pick up the crochet hook with your right hand. Insert it into the loop. Position the hook to the left of the yarn. Wrap the yarn counterclockwise around the hook. Draw the yarn through. Now there is 1 loop on your hook. Continue with a chain stitch to secure. Yarn over. Pull the yarn through the loop. 1 chain stitch is completed. Pull tight. The magic ring is now complete. Next, work the first round. Start with a chain stitch as the beginning chain for the single crochet. Yarn over. Draw the yarn through. This chain stitch does not count as a stitch. Then begin working single crochets. Insert the hook into the magic ring. Yarn over. Draw the yarn through. There are 2 loops on the hook. Yarn over again. Pull through all the loops on the hook in one go. 1 single crochet is now completed. The V shape formed by 2 strands of yarn is the stitch of a single crochet. This is the stitch of a single crochet. Continue with the second single crochet. Insert the hook into the large hole of the starting ring. Yarn over. Draw the yarn through. Yarn over again. Draw through the 2 loops on hook. The second single crochet is now completed. For the first round, you need to complete a total of 6 single crochets. Continue to finish the remaining single crochets. 3, 4, 5, 6. After that, close the magic ring. There are 2 loops in total. First, gently pull the starting tail. One of the loops will be loose. Tighten the loose loop. One loop remains. Pull tight the yarn tail directly. The loop is now closed. Next, work into the first single crochet stitch of this round. Finish with a slip stitch. This is on the left side of the yarn tail. At the second chain from the hook. 1, 2. It's this large braid. If you cannot tell for sure, you can also count back from the last stitch. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Still this stitch. Insert the hook. Yarn over. And draw the yarn through. Pull through all loops on the hook. Slip stitch completed. This is the chain formed by the slip stitch. The joining slip stitch needs to be tightened. To avoid extra stitches later, the first round is now complete. Move on to the second round. Start with one chain stitch as the beginning chain. Let me emphasize again, each round should begin with the beginning chain. I won't repeat this in the following steps. For this round, crochet into the back loops of the stitches from the previous round. First, let's take a look at the stitch structure. There are 2 strands in each stitch. The strand closer to the right side is called the front loop. The other strand is the back loop. Pick up the back loop of the first stitch. Crochet 1 SC2 in 1 stitch. This is where you insert your hook for the slip stitch. At this point, pick up the strand at the back. Crochet 2 single crochets into the same stitch. As you crochet, place the starting tail above the hook. Weave in the ends as you go along. 1 stitch. 2 stitches. The SC2 in 1 stitch is now completed. Continue picking up the back loop of the left stitch. Crochet a SC2 in 1 stitch. Don't forget to weave in the ends. The second SC2 in 1 stitch is completed. In this round, you need to crochet a total of 6 SC2 in 1 stitches. For the remaining 4, follow the method of picking up the back loop of the adjacent left stitch and crocheting 2 single crochets into the same stitch. After completing the last short needle increase, join with a slip stitch into the first stitch. You can take a look. Between the first and last stitches, there are 2 small braids, which are the slip stitch from the previous round, and the beginning chain of this round. Skip these 2 stitches. Insert the hook into the first stitch. Yarn over. Draw the yarn through, and pull through all loops on the hook in one go. Slip stitch completed. Pull tight. You can cut off the extra yarn tail from the beginning chain directly. The second round is now complete. Continue with the third round. Insert the hook into the back loop of the first stitch. Make 1 single crochet. Then insert the hook into the back loop of the adjacent stitch on the left. Make a SC2 in 1 stitch. After completing, then pick up the back loop of each stitch. Make 1 single crochet and 1 SC2 in 1 stitch. Now let's take a look at the crochet pattern for this round. 1 single crochet, 1 SC2 in 1 stitch. Repeat the pattern. This method is called skip 1, increase 1. Continue all the way down following this pattern to complete this round. After completing the round, at the first single crochet, which is on the left side of the opening, make a slip stitch join at the first large braid. Pull tight. And the third round is completed. You can see that the right side texture is clear, while the wrong side texture is blurry. All subsequent work will be done on the right side. Now, let's work on the fourth round. Continue working into the back loops only. Start with a SC2 in 1 stitch. Then make 2 single crochets. Continue with another SC2 in 1 stitch. And 2 more single crochets. Let's take a look at the pattern for this round. A SC2 in 1 stitch, followed by 2 single crochets worked even. This method of increasing is called increase 1 stitch every 2. Continue following this pattern to complete this round. When finished, insert the hook into the first stitch, and join with a slip stitch. Pull tight. The fourth round is now completed. Move on to the fifth round. Continue working into the back loops of the stitches from the previous round. Start with 2 single crochets. Then make a SC2 in 1 stitch, followed by 3 single crochets. And another SC2 in 1 stitch. The pattern for this round is to increase 1 stitch every 3. Continue following this pattern to complete this round. After completing this last SC2 in 1 stitch, make 1 more single crochet together with the initial 2 single crochets. This makes a total of 3 single crochets. Finish with a slip stitch and pull tight. The fifth round is now complete. Next, we start the sixth round, working the raised pattern on the flower center in reverse spiral. Start with 2 chain stitches as a beginning chain. Turn the workpiece counterclockwise. Insert the hook into the back loop of the left stitch of the beginning chain. Work 1/2 double crochet, yarn over. Insert the hook behind the yarn. Yarn over, draw the yarn through. There are 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over again, and draw through all the loops on the hook in one go. 1/2 double crochet is now completed. Next, insert the hook into the back loop of the adjacent stitch on the left. Work 1 slip stitch. This completes the 2 chain stitches. 1/2 double crochet and 1 slip stitch form a small raised pattern. Let me demonstrate this again. Chain 2 to start. Insert the hook into the back loop of the stitch below. This is the same insertion point as where you made the slip stitch earlier. Work 1/2 double crochet, yarn over. Insert the hook. Yarn over again, draw the yarn through. Yarn over once more, and draw through all 3 loops on the hook in one go. Another 1/2 double crochet is complete. Insert the hook into the back loop of the adjacent stitch on the left. Work 1 slip stitch. The second small bump is now completed. Continue down following this method, repeating the pattern to make more small bumps. Finish crocheting this round until you reach the stitch just before the right side of the beginning chain. Now you have reached this position. In the back loop of the last stitch, work 1 slip stitch. Then make 2 chain stitches. Insert the hook into this front loop, and work 1/2 double crochet. Let's take a look at the fabric piece. On the right side of the piece, you can see the remaining front loops of the stitches. Form small segments in circles. Pick up an adjacent segment from the 4th round below. Work 1 slip stitch. The yarn tail has now transitioned to the position on the 4th round. Then chain 2 to start. Pick up this segment and work 1/2 double crochet. Then work 1 slip stitch in the adjacent segment on the left side. This small bump is now completed. Continue downward following this method, picking up segments from the 4th round, and continue crocheting the small bumps. Finish this round. Complete it. Finish this round. When crocheting the final small bump, directly pick up the corresponding segment from the third round, and work a slip stitch. The yarn tail will transition to the corresponding position on the third round. Continue downward following this method, crocheting the small bumps and spirals around, until you finish the remaining segments of the first round. After completing the last half double crochet, leave a yarn tail of about 5 centimeters and cut the yarn. Transition the yarn tail to the roughly symmetrical position on the last round, and crochet it to the backside of the flower center. Slightly tighten. The 6th round is completed. The flower center is now crocheted. Next, we will crochet the petals. Let's take a look at the finished product. There are 2 rounds of petals in total. First, crochet small petals around the flower center. Then, in the gaps between the small petals, crochet large petals. The new stitch technique used is double crochet and CH1SL picket stitch. Please watch as I demonstrate the specific crocheting method. Let's start with the small petals. Take out the corresponding contrasting color yarn. I will continue to demonstrate using thick yarn here. The color choice is random. Place the right side of the flower center towards you. You can see behind the fabric piece, there are half stitches remaining from the 5th round. A circle of small line segments is formed. Pick any segment and join the yarn. Make a slip knot with the yarn tail. Insert the hook into the segment. Draw out the slip knot. Slightly adjust the loop size. Joining the yarn is complete. Chain 7. Pick up the second chain from the hook. 1, 2. That is, this chain. Insert the hook into the top loop of this chain. Work 1 slip stitch. Be mindful not to make this slip stitch too tight. Slightly loose is better for crocheting. Pick up the half loop on the left side of the adjacent chain below. 1 stitch corresponds to 1 stitch, then work 5 slip stitches. After completing, rotate the piece counterclockwise. Make sure the side with the chain is facing up. Bring the yarn tail from behind the piece. Be mindful not to pull the carried yarn too tight. Start with 1 chain. Then pick up the remaining 2 strands of the left chain below. This is the insertion point, where you made the last slip stitch. Work 1 single crochet. Continue picking up the remaining 2 strands of the left chain below. Correspondingly work 1 half double crochet. And 2 double crochets. Let's start with the first stitch. Yarn over. Insert into this position. Yarn over, draw the yarn through. Now you have 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over again, pull through the first 2 loops. Now you have 2 loops remaining on the hook. Yarn over once more, pull through these 2 loops. 1 double crochet is now complete. Move on to the second stitch. Yarn over. Insert the hook into the chain stitch position. Yarn over, draw the yarn through. You now have 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over, draw the yarn through the first 2 loops. Repeat twice. 1, 2. The second double crochet is done. Pick up the remaining 2 strands of the left side chain braid. Continue to work 1/2 double crochet correspondingly. And 1 single crochet. Chain 1 for transition. Pick up a strand from the top. Work 1 double crochet. Then make 1 ch1sl picket stitch. First, make 1 chain. Pick up the 2 strands from below the double crochet like this. Work 1 slip stitch. This ch1sl picket stitch is now completed. Then make 1 chain for transition. Pick up the left stitch. Work 1 single crochet correspondingly. 1/2 double crochet. 2 double crochets. One-half double crochet. And 1 single crochet. Then go back to the 5th round stitch. Skip 1 segment. Pick up the 2nd segment from the left. Work 1 slip stitch. One petal is now completed. Continue with the 2nd petal. Start with 7 chains. Begin from the 2nd chain from the hook. Pick up the top half loop of the chain. Work 6 slip stitches, corresponding one by one. Bring the yarn tail from the back of the fabric piece. Make 1 beginning chain. Then pick up the remaining 2 strands of the left chain. Work 1 single crochet. When crocheting, connect with the previous petal. Enlarge the loop with the hook. Locate the last single crochet stitch of the previous petal. Insert the hook from front to back into this stitch. Draw the loop through. Adjust the size of the loop. Then go back to the 2nd petal. Pick up the chain stitch position and work 1 single crochet. This connects the 2 petals together. Continue by picking up the remaining 2 strands of the left chain. Work 1/2 double crochet, corresponding one by one. Work 2 double crochets. Work 1/2 double crochet. And 1 single crochet. Finish with 1 chain for transition. Pick up one of the top strands. Work 1 double crochet. Work 1 ch1sl picket stitch. Then work 1 chain for transition. Next, pick up the left stitch. Work the corresponding stitches symmetrically, matching one by one. Finish crocheting this edge. Once completed, go back to the 5th round stitch. Skip one line segment. Pick up the second line segment from the left and work one slip stitch. Another small petal is now completed. For this round of crocheting, skip one line segment. Then crochet a small petal. Continue working on this round until you finish it, right up to the last small petal, just before the final single crochet. Pay attention during the crocheting process. Each petal should connect to the previous one. Now we are at this position. Just before the final single crochet, you need to connect it to the right side of the first petal. Stretch the loop. Pull the loop through the single crochet stitch on the right side of the first petal. Adjust the loop size. Then complete this single crochet. Draw the loop to the back side of the petal. Finish this single crochet. This round of small petals is now complete. Next, move on to the large petals. Work one slip stitch into the line segment between the two small petals below. Then chain 9 to start. Starting from the second chain from the hook. Work 8 slip stitches correspondingly. Bring the yarn tail from the back of the piece. Make one beginning chain. Then refer to the chart and work the corresponding stitches. After completing this petal, finally, insert the hook into the line segment between the two small petals on the left side. Which is the empty segment. And work one slip stitch. One large petal is now completed. Follow this method to crochet the second large petal. Pay attention to connecting it at the same single crochet position with the previous petal. The second large petal is now complete. Continue in this manner for the next petals. Finish crocheting the remaining large petals. Before working this final single crochet, don't forget to connect it with the first large petal. After completing it, work one chain stitch to secure. Leave a yarn tail of about 5 centimeters and cut the yarn. Weave the yarn tail to the wrong side of the fabric. Follow the texture on the wrong side to weave in the ends. Use the same method to weave in all the yarn tails. This round of large petals is now complete. Up to this point, the crochet method for the petals has been fully explained. Next, we will crochet the calyx. Let's look at the finished product. Start with an adjustable magic ring. Crochet in rounds. After completing it, sew the calyx to the wrong side of the flower center. The new stitch technique used is CH3SL picket stitch. Please watch as I demonstrate the specific crochet method. Take out the corresponding contrasting color yarn. Wrap the yarn with your fingers and start with a double magic ring. Then, in the first round, crochet 6 single crochets. The method is the same as for the flower center. I have already completed the sample swatch. Next, move on to the second round. Make one chain as your beginning chain. Pick up the stitches from the previous round. One stitch corresponds to one stitch. Crochet single crochets. As you crochet, pull the starting yarn tail to tighten it. Finish this round. Join with a slip stitch into the first single crochet. Pull tight. If there is any remaining starting yarn tail, you can cut it directly. Crocheting evenly will make the fabric naturally curl. Adjust the fabric so that the right side faces out. The second round is now completed. Continue with the third round. Chain 1 as the beginning chain. Insert the hook into the first stitch. Make it SC2 in one stitch. Work into the next adjacent stitch on the left. Correspondingly make a SC2 in one stitch. Finish this round. Join with a slip stitch after completing. Pull tight. The third round is now completed. The crocheting method for the 4th to 7th rounds is relatively simple. Refer to the chart. Pick up the stitches from the previous round and work the corresponding stitch pattern. All the required stitches have been demonstrated before. Please refer to the earlier demonstrations. Follow the chart to complete them. I'll demonstrate the crocheting method for the 8th round using this small sample. Start with 3 chain stitches as the beginning chain. This counts as 1 double crochet. Then, chain 2 for transition. Insert the hook into the next stitch below and make 1 double crochet. Then skip 2 stitches. Pick up the third stitch from the left and make 1 double crochet. Chain 2 as a transition. In the same stitch, make another double crochet. Treat these 2 double crochets and 2 chain stitches as 1 group of stitches. The pattern for this round is 2. Skip 2 stitches and work this group of stitches. Continue following this pattern to complete this round. After completing, work a slip stitch into the third chain of the beginning chain. Pick up these 2 strands and join with a slip stitch. Pull tight. The 8th round is now completed. Continue to the 9th round. Work 1 slip stitch into the left chain space. Transition the yarn to this position. Chain 2 as a standing stitch, counting as 1/2 double crochet. Then pick up the chain space below. Work 1 double crochet. Then work a CH3SL picket stitch. First, chain 3. Then pick up these 2 strands from the double crochet below. Work 1 slip stitch. This CH3SL picket stitch is now completed. Continue by working 1/2 double crochet into this chain space. Then pick up between the 2 double crochets on the left. Work 1 single crochet. This group of stitches is now completed. I'll demonstrate another group. Work 1/2 double crochet into the left chain space. Work 1 double crochet. And a CH3SL picket stitch. First, chain 3. Then pick up these 2 strands from the double crochet below. Work 1 slip stitch. This CH3SL picket stitch is now completed. Continue by working 1/2 double crochet into this chain space. Then pick up between the 2 double crochets on the left. Work 1 single crochet. Another motif is now completed. Continue in this manner, repeating this pattern group. Complete this round. Join with a slip stitch into the second chain of the beginning chain. Pull tight. Chain 1 to secure. Leave a tail of about 5 centimeters and cut the yarn. Weave in the ends on the wrong side of the piece. Weave in a few more stitches before trimming any excess yarn tails. The 9th round is now completed. This completes the calyx. Next, sew the calyx to the wrong side of the flower center. Cut about 40 centimeters of the same color yarn as the calyx. Thread it into a darning needle. Insert the needle from the right side into the center where the calyx began. Leave a tail of about 10 centimeters at the end. Then pick up a stitch from the wrong side of the 7th round of short needles. Sew a bit, transitioning the yarn to this position. Then, place the calyx with its wrong side, facing the wrong side of the flower center. Pick up the corresponding loops from the final round of the flower center. And one loop from the wrong side of the 7th round of short needles. Match and sew them together. When you reach about 2/3 of the way through sewing, insert some stuffing between the flower center and the calyx. You can also use the remaining yarn tails for stuffing. Don't stuff it too tight. Just make it slightly firm. Then, continue sewing to finish this round. Once completed, bring the yarn tail out through the center where the calyx began with the magic ring. Slightly tighten it. Trim any excess yarn tails. This completes the sewing of the calyx and flower center. Up to this point, the flower is done. Next, crochet the leaves. Let's take a look at the finished product. We will start from the foundation chain. Crochet around the chain. Incorporate the thin wire while crocheting. Please watch as I demonstrate the specific crochet technique. First, we need to cast on. Hold the yarn with your left hand. Pick up the crochet hook with your right hand. Place it underneath the yarn. Wrap the yarn counterclockwise. Use your left thumb and middle finger to pinch the crossing point of the loop. Put the hook on the left side of the yarn. Yarn over. Draw the yarn through. This slip knot does not count as a stitch. Slightly tighten it. Pay attention, the loop on the hook should not be too tight, or it will be difficult to crochet. Now, crochet 10 chain stitches. This completes the beginning chain. Next, work the first round. Start with a chain 1 as your beginning chain. Begin from the second to last chain stitch. Pick up the top loop of the chain. Work 1 single crochet in each stitch. When crocheting, leave about 10 centimeters of thin wire. Place it above the hook and incorporate it. Finish crocheting at the starting chain position. Work 3 single crochets in the last chain stitch position. Rotate the piece. Pick up the remaining 2 strands of the chain on the other side. Continue working 1 single crochet in each stitch until just before the last chain stitch position. Weave in the starting yarn tail as you go. Now you've reached this point. Pick up the last chain stitch position. Work 2 single crochets. Then pick up the first stitch and work 1 slip stitch. Pull tight. Leave about 10 centimeters of the thin wire and cut it off. If there is any remaining starting yarn tail, you can cut it directly. The first round is now completed. Move on to crochet the second round. Make 1 chain stitch as your beginning chain. Pick up the next stitch and work 1 single crochet. Then work 1 ch1sl picket stitch. Continue by picking up the adjacent stitch on the left and working 1/2 double crochet and 1 ch1sl picket stitch. Continue by picking up the left stitch and working 1 double crochet and work 1 ch1sl picket stitch. Repeat this 2 times. Then pick up the left stitch and work 2 double crochets. Above each double crochet, work 1 ch1sl picket stitch. Continue to follow the chart and crochet the corresponding stitches until you reach the tip before the last 3 single crochets. Now we're at this position. Pick up the left stitch and make 1 single crochet. Then pick up the middle stitch and make 1 single crochet. Work 1 chain for transition. Continue by picking up this stitch and working 1 double crochet. Work 1 ch1sl picket stitch. Work 1 more chain for transition. Continue by picking up this stitch and making 1 single crochet. Then pick up the left stitch and make 1 single crochet. Move down to the other side. Pick up the single crochet stitch and crochet symmetrically according to the chart. Finish crocheting this round. Once completed, join with a slip stitch in the first single crochet. Work one chain to secure. Leave a yarn tail of about 10 centimeters and cut the yarn. Pull the yarn tail through to the wrong side of the leaf at the corresponding position of the thin wire. Wrap 2 rounds at the ending position. Then insert and secure between the wires. This leaf is now completed. Continue crocheting the remaining leaves using this method. Next, assemble the sunflower branch, which consists of 1 flower and leaves. The specific number of leaves is not fixed. Take a thick wire. Apply a little glue to the top end. Start from the center of the flower's base, where the beginning stitch was made. Insert the flower. Then apply a little glue to the thick wire below the flower. Adjust the yarn tails below the flower. Tidy up and align them with the thick wire. Take the same color yarn as the calyx. First, attach the yarn tail to the thick wire below the flower. Then start wrapping the yarn. Be mindful to wrap the remaining yarn tails inside as you go. Wrapping tightly and neatly looks better. Wrap for about 4 centimeters. Take out a leaf with the right side facing up. Align the thin wire of the leaf with the thick wire. Continue wrapping the yarn downward. If there are too many yarn tails here, you can trim off some. Be careful when cutting. Leave different lengths for each yarn tail. To avoid an unattractive appearance here. If you need to add another leaf, continue wrapping for about 4 centimeters. Add another leaf in a symmetrical position. Make sure the right side of the leaf is facing up. Continue wrapping downward. Until you reach below the thick wire, leaving about 10 centimeters remaining. After completing, secure with glue. Trim any excess yarn tails. This sunflower branch is now assembled. Follow this method too. Crochet the remaining sunflower branches. Refer to the chart for the specific quantity. Once all are completed, you can adjust the shape of the flowers like this, making the petals more spread out. The branches consist of small leaves, medium leaves, and large leaves. Each type of leaf is crocheted using a similar method. I'll use the chain ring method to start. First, crochet the left lobe, then crochet the right lobe. Once all parts are completed, assemble them into a branch. Start with a magic ring and crochet 4 chain stitches. After completing this, let's take a look at the chain stitch. On the right side, the chain stitch forms a V-shaped braid. Loop the chain stitches around. With the right side facing you, pay attention. Do not twist the chain stitches. Pick up the half loop front loop of the first chain stitch from the top. That is, this single strand of yarn. Make a slip stitch. Pull tight. This completes the starting chain. Next, crochet the left lobe. Start with 3 chain stitches as the turning chain. In the same stitch space, crochet 6 double crochets. As you crochet, pull the beginning yarn tail to tighten it. After completing this section, join with a slip stitch into the starting chain. Pull tight. The left lobe is now complete. The beginning yarn tail has been worked around once. You can cut it directly. Continue with the right lobe. Start by crocheting 8 chain stitches. On the 4th chain from the hook, insert the hook into the top loop of the chain and work 1 slip stitch. Pull tight. The starting hole is now completed. Next, make 3 chain stitches to start a new row, which counts as 1 double crochet. Temporarily leave the loop loose. Insert the hook into the 3rd chain from the starting hole. Draw the loop through. Then, work 5 double crochets into the starting hole. After completing this section, join with a slip stitch in this chain. Continue with 1 chain stitch. In the double crochet on the left side of the beginning chain on the left petal, work 1 slip stitch. Pull tight. Fasten off normally. Weave in the yarn tail along the wrong side of the fabric following the texture. This small leaf is now completed. Continue downwards using this method, crocheting leaves of different sizes. Note: the starting chain for both medium and large leaves is 5 chain stitches. Don't crochet this wrong. The quantity of leaves needed for each branch is marked on the chart. Refer to the diagram and crochet them accordingly. After completing all the leaves for one branch, proceed to assemble the branch. Start by taking a small leaf. Cut a piece of thin wire. Insert the thin wire from the middle position, on the wrong side of the leaf. Insert these 2 wires. Note: make sure the thin wire does not show on the right side of the leaf. Then place the leaf in the middle of the wire. Fold it in half and twist tightly. Next, take the thick wire. Apply a little glue to the top of the thick wire. Secure the small leaf at the top of the thick wire. Place the thin wire next to the thick wire. Use the corresponding contrasting color yarn to wrap the thick wire. After wrapping the thick wire, Secure it with glue when finished. Trim off any excess tails. Then follow the quantity and order of leaves marked on the chart. Insert the thick wire through the hole in the middle of each leaf. Make sure all leaves are right side facing up. Keep a small distance between each leaf. After threading all leaves onto the thick wire, adjust the distance and angle between the leaves. Then apply a little glue in the middle of the leaves to secure them. This eucalyptus branch is now assembled. Follow the same method to make and assemble the remaining branches. Refer to the chart for the specific number of branches. Up to this point, the making method for this sunflower branch is now fully explained. If you have any questions during the process, don't hesitate to reach us via our website. Susan's Family, supporting your handwork experience, sharing the joy of life. Thank you all for watching. See you in the next episode.